I spent the last 4 years working with hundreds of manufacturers and distributors, a lot of it right on the warehouse floor, seeing the same inventory problems come up over and over. I've watched shipments go out late, someone walk the floor looking for a part that's supposed to be in stock, and whiteboard schedules that are already wrong by Wednesday. And those problems are exactly what drove me to co-found my own inventory management software. So I know firsthand how annoying it is to run everything on spreadsheets you can't even trust, and how much worse it is to pick the wrong tool to fix it. Because you could spend months and thousands of dollars setting it up, only for it to be too complicated for your team to use, so they end up back on spreadsheets anyway. So today, I'll go over the top 7 inventory management tools right now, with the pros and cons of each, so you can pick the right one for your specific situation and not have any issues. Before I get into any of the actual tools, I want to give you a simple way to compare them. The first thing to ask is whether it runs your whole operation in one place or just a part of it. Some of these only track your stock, while others handle your inventory, purchasing, production, and warehouse all together. So your whole team is working from the same numbers. The second thing is whether your team can actually use it right on the warehouse floor, because a tool that only runs on a desktop computer is useless to the person standing at the shelves with a barcode scanner. The third thing you want to look for is how it handles your numbers. The count on the screen should always match what's physically in your warehouse, and you should be able to trace any item back to its lot, batch, or serial number if you ever need to. And the last thing is setup, because a few of these you can have up and running in a few weeks, but others can take months and cost tens of thousands of dollars before they're even usable. So be sure to factor in about how long your team is willing to spend on setup. So with those important things in mind, let's get into the tools themselves. First up is Digit, which is one system that runs your inventory, purchasing, production, and warehouse all in one place. Built for small and mid-sized manufacturers and distributors. This kind of all-in-one system is what people call an ERP. So everything you used to track in separate spreadsheets, purchase order tools, and whiteboards is now in one place your whole team works from. Now, having everything in one place only helps if your team can actually use it where they are. And that's why Digit runs on any phone or tablet. Your team can receive inventory, scan barcodes, pick and pack orders, and log production right from the warehouse or production line without walking back to a desktop. It tracks every item down to the lot, batch, and serial number, so when a customer or auditor asks where a part came from, you can pull it up in seconds. And unlike some other tools, it won't mark your parts as used the moment you start building something, meaning your stock numbers always match what's actually on the shelf. It's also fast to set up, usually 2 to 6 weeks, and it connects to the tools you already use, like QuickBooks, Xero, and Shopify. So your accounting stays exactly where it is. The biggest thing that sets Digit apart from the other tools on this list is AI, because it connects directly to Claude and ChatGPT. So instead of clicking through a bunch of screens to find something, you can just ask for what you need. For example, you can take a photo of a paper purchase order and it'll create that order in Digit for you automatically. Or you can ask it to pull a report, update your stock, or copy a bill of materials over to a new product. One of our customers, Nick at Slumberjack Coffee, even used Claude to build his own drag and drop production scheduler in about 15 minutes. And because Digit already has all your inventory and production data, the AI's answers are based on what's actually happening in your business. So it gets more useful the more you use it. Now, to be fair, Digit is younger than some of the names on the list, but for a growing manufacturer or distributor, you can get one system the whole team can use that's set up and running in a few weeks with numbers you can trust. And by the way, if you want to see how Digit would run on your own operation, I'll leave a link where you can book a demo at the top of the description. Anyway, let's keep going. Next is Fishbowl, which has been around for a long time, and it still runs a lot of shops, especially ones that started on QuickBooks and outgrew it. And it connects well to QuickBooks, which is the main reason it got popular. So if a clean QuickBooks setup is your top priority, it can still do the job. Where it starts to fall short is when you're running production. It's a server-based system, so it can't run on a phone or tablet. And the moment you create a work order, it sets aside every part that order needs, even when those parts are still on your shelf. I've watched this stop a whole team from building anything. They go to put together a batch of 500 units, and the system counts every one of those parts as gone, even though they're sitting right there on the shelf. Then we have Katana, which is one of the cleanest, most modern interfaces on this list. It's nice to use, the pricing is right there on the website, and for a smaller shop doing simple manufacturing, it's easy to get set up with. So if you're not doing complex production, Katana is a solid pick. But once you're running more complex manufacturing, there are a few things Katana just can't do. It only lets you store each item in one location, so you can't split a product across multiple bins in your warehouse or move stock between them. It also doesn't keep different versions of your bill of materials. So when your product changes, you can't easily keep track of which version you actually built. Additionally, it has no quality checks built in, which is a problem for anyone in a regulated industry. One more thing I'll say is the pricing can get a bit confusing because some of the manufacturing features cost extra as add-ons. So what looks cheap at first can add up as you turn on the features you actually need. Now, NetSuite is a different kind of tool because while it's powerful, it's built for a much bigger company than the one you're most likely running. It can handle huge amounts of inventory, complex reporting, and multiple locations or business units at once. So if you are a large, complex business, it's definitely a good option. But for small or mid-sized manufacturer, NetSuite is usually unnecessary in both cost and complexity. Setting it up can take several months to multiple years, and just getting it running can cost $20,000 or more before you've processed a single order. I've seen plenty of small shops buy NetSuite and end up paying for it and dealing with a level of complexity they'll never actually use. Anyways, now let's talk about Odoo, the most flexible option on this whole list. It's open source, so you can customize almost anything. And there's a huge ecosystem of add-ons and partners around it. So if you've got a very specific situation and someone technical to set it all up, Odoo can do a lot. But it's important to note that this flexibility does come with a catch. I've talked to teams who started on an Odoo setup expecting it to be quick, and 6 months later, they were still paying partners and turning off modules they never wanted, like a built-in CRM or HR system. It can also force you to replace tools you already use and like, just to get everything working together. So Odoo can be a good fit if you have the time and the technical help, but if you just want to be up and running in a few weeks, it's kind of a lot to take on. A much simpler option is inFlow, and it's perfectly fine for basic inventory. It looks modern, it's easy to start, and for a small team, straightforward operation that just needs to track stock, it does the job. But it isn't built for manufacturing, and that's probably not going to be the best for you once you go beyond the basics. For example, one company I talked to was selling both through their regular online store and live on TikTok, and inFlow made it kind of hard to move their inventory between those two channels. Plus, if two of their products had the same name, inFlow would mix them up and mess up the inventory counts. So it's a fine starting point if you just need basic stock tracking, but the moment you start manufacturing or selling across multiple channels, you'll want to upgrade to something better. Now, the last one on the list is Sortly, and it's a bit of an odd one out. It's built for visual photo-based tracking, so you can take a picture of an item, tag it, and keep track of where your equipment and supplies are. For tracking things like tools, gear, or stockroom supplies, it's easy to use. But Sortly definitely isn't built for manufacturing, and it's not trying to be. There are no builds of materials, no production orders, and no way to plan or run production. So if you actually make products, Sortly isn't going to be enough, and it's there for companies that just need to keep track of what they own. So with all of this said, if you're just tracking equipment or you run a small, simple operation, one of the simpler tools like Sortly or inFlow will do the job. But if you're a growing manufacturer or distributor, you want one system your whole team can run from their phone that goes live in weeks with AI built in, so you can get any number you need just by asking. If that's you, I'd recommend trying out Digit. And I'll leave a link at the top of the description where you can book a free demo. On the demo, we'll look at how your operation runs, show you how Digit would handle your specific workflow, and let you see how the AI works with your own data. So again, you can book your free demo by clicking the first link below in this video. And if you want more of the best tips on running a modern manufacturing operation, then check out this video next.